When a deadly toxic storm suddenly sweeps across the entire globe, people are shocked to realize that tomorrow will be the end of the world, and the government replaces the last batch of welfare for the people with a drug that allows them to die peacefully. It is colorless and tasteless, and after taking it, there is no pain at all. This powerless relief seems to be humanity's final, stubborn resistance against this disaster. And on Christmas Eve, right before doomsday arrives, several families still gather together following their usual traditions. They sit at the dining table, raising their glasses and drinking like before. And the room is filled with laughter and joy, as if they have forgotten that this will be the last night they will ever spend together. While the adults are sharing their happy memories, the young boy Art bluntly tears apart their forced calmness of avoiding reality. He says directly that perhaps the end of the world is nature's revenge, because everyone keeps dumping all kinds of garbage onto this blue planet, and eventually it cannot bear it anymore and spits it back at them. His few words instantly pull everyone back to reality, and the laughter from earlier disappears completely in an instant. Art's honesty not only leaves the adults at a loss, but also makes the other children feel very depressed. In order to comfort their emotions, Sandra and Nell begin to guide them, saying that everything they are experiencing is not their fault, and that the government has already provided measures, and as long as they take the pill, it will be as simple as falling asleep. So the storm outside is not really that scary, and no matter what happens, their parents will be with them to face it together. Their warm guidance quickly helps the children let go of their panic and become happy again. But Art still sits silently on the side without speaking. Soon after, he quietly sneaks into his parents' bedroom while no one is around, and then takes out the phone his mother hid under the pillow. Through his search, he learns that after humans are poisoned, they will experience 3 stages. In the first stage, the poison will quickly attack the central nervous system. The second stage is when the organs will immediately fail and start bleeding heavily. And the third stage is when people will die in agony, bleeding from all 7 orifices. Because this extreme way of dying is unbearable for most people, the government issued pills that allow people to fall asleep without consciousness to avoid panic. The adults have long understood that death is inevitable, so they use the warm and romantic holiday atmosphere to avoid the panic that death brings. They light fireworks together with the children. As the fireworks bloom in the night sky, the whole world becomes colorful in an instant, and they not only light up the darkness, but also seem to take away everyone's worries and sorrows. Soon after, the adults gather together again, looking at old photos, and those scenes seem to appear vividly before their eyes. Without the children joining and under the subtle influence of alcohol, they decide to have an unreserved heart-to-heart talk. After all, in the world of adults, who doesn't have a little secret? But unexpectedly, when some unspeakable words come out of Sandra's mouth, her husband is still greatly shocked. At this time, Tony realizes that before their marriage, his wife had such a crazy side, and even had some unbelievable experiences with other men present at the scene. But due to the current situation, although Tony feels a bit angry inside, he finally chooses to forgive his wife. As more unfiltered secrets are exposed, this heart-to-heart almost makes the friendship between the friends collapse. But in the face of the approaching death, everything becomes so insignificant. In the end, everyone chooses to let go and forgive, hugging and comforting each other on this final night. Unknowingly, the Christmas bell rings at midnight. Art's family opens a video call with his grandmother on time and sends her Christmas blessings. Even though they are thousands of miles apart, the grandmother's face is still filled with an unmistakable smile of happiness. But just as Nell expresses her longing, the old lady's expression becomes panicked. It turns out that the toxic storm has already arrived at her doorstep without them knowing. Without even having time to say goodbye, Nell's mother quickly takes the pill and swallows it. Nell understands what has happened, and she can't help but escape the room in sadness. And Simon quickly shuts down the computer, as he doesn't want the children to witness such a cruel scene at this final moment. As the storm roars past, everything about the grandmother is completely swallowed up. Although his parents did not explain, Art still vaguely guessed something. Looking at the old photos with his grandmother, Art could not hide his sadness, and at the same time, he didn't understand why they had to take that damn pill. So, while his parents were not paying attention, he quietly found their friend James, who was a doctor. Art directly expressed his thoughts.
I'm not going to take the pill.
It won't hurt you, Art.
Well, it will. It'll kill me.
I mean, it's painless.
I'm not scared of pain.
Oh, Art, you don't know anything about pain.
I know I don't want to die.
Pain is intolerable. Pain is why some people choose to die.
I don't care. I'm not taking it.
Art's stubbornness exceeded James's expectations, and he originally didn't want to say anything more. But Art once again asked him a soul-searching question. If someone could survive the toxic gas, wouldn't taking the pill mean dying for nothing? After hearing this, James slowly started to explain that all the scientists around the world had confirmed that no one could survive this storm. And it was because poisoning would be extremely painful that the government distributed the pills to avoid panic. But Art didn't care about these things. He still questioned whether scientists could also make mistakes. He then talked about his classmate Tommy. Once, Tommy answered a math problem in class, and the math teacher thought he got it wrong and scolded him. But later the teacher checked again and found that Tommy was right. So during recess, the teacher apologized to Tommy. Art believed that adults were not incapable of making mistakes. So wasn't it possible that the scientists were also wrong? After hearing Art's doubts, James still wanted to explain something, but Art questioned him again, asking why, as a doctor, he would now bow to death. Art's few words left James completely speechless. He knew that the fact of death could not be changed, and that he was powerless. So he stopped discussing with Art and went outside to rejoin the final celebration. As the deadly toxic storm got closer and closer, Art's parents eventually learned that their son refused to take the pill, so they brought him to the car outside to talk. But Art naively believed that if they just sealed the doors and windows and waited for the gas to disperse, they might survive, and he hoped his parents wouldn't take the pill either. But Nell told her son that the poison spread through the air, and it would penetrate everything through windows, door gaps, even pipes, and ordinary people couldn't escape it, and no one knew how long this storm would last. Nell said that if she had even a shred of hope, she wouldn't force the children to take the pill. But the fact proved that there was no meaning in escaping. She didn't want to leave Art alone to face endless pain after their family was gone. Her mother's words made Art unable to accept it. He didn't want his life to end like this. So he ran out of the car and ran desperately into the dark path, trying to escape this injustice. Until he came to a car with flashing lights, he finally stopped. Art approached and found that it also seemed to be a family trying to escape by car. But in the end, they still took the pill and died there because of despair. The tragedy in the car made Art collapse instantly, and he didn't even notice a small amount of toxic gas drifting past him. Simon, who arrived, saw his son accidentally inhaling the gas, and he rushed over and carried his son back home. The sudden situation scared everyone in the room. Simon was completely at a loss. Knowing the storm was about to arrive, everyone could only hurry back to their rooms to prepare to face it, and James also picked up Art and placed him in the bedroom. Then several men began to comfort Simon, who was on the verge of collapsing. At this time, Art had already started convulsing all over. Nell arrived and held her son, praying continuously. As the storm got closer, the men finally realized that death was truly right in front of them, and they picked up drinks and made their final farewells to each other. Simon returned to the room and handed the drinks to his two younger sons, then opened the pills and gave them one each. But the two children holding the pills still didn't have the courage to swallow them, until Nell was about to lay Art down. She was horrified to find that her son's eyes, nose, and ears were bleeding.
Yes! Oh my God!
Art's tragic death not only terrified his two brothers, but also made Nell and Simon quickly take the pills into their mouths, fearing to experience the same pain again. Then the family of 5 quietly lay on the bed. At this time, James and his girlfriend also fed the pills to each other. And on the other side, Tony's family of 3 had already taken the pills and lay on the bed preparing to sleep. But at this moment, Kitty suddenly remembered her doll, thinking that the doll was also a member of the family, and even in death, they should all stay together neatly. Tony tried to stop his daughter from going out, worrying that they wouldn't be able to die together, but the effects of the pills made him and his wife unable to move anymore. When Kitty came back, Tony and Sandra had already fallen asleep, and Alex and Bella also lay on the bed ready, but Alex, because he drank too much, accidentally vomited out the pill.
No!
Since there was only 1 pill per person, Bella didn't want Alex to face extreme pain alone, so she mercilessly stabbed Alex in the body, and she also collapsed on the ground due to the pill's effect. As the storm roared and swallowed the entire house, in the blink of an eye, the scene shifted to the next morning. By this time, the storm had already disappeared, and the cold snow had covered the earth with a thin white veil. The whole world lost its usual noise and was filled with peaceful tranquility. The people in the house were lying together quietly, as if it had all come to an end. But at this moment, something unexpected happened.